let's talk about for a moment the 10 virgins and why the 5 wise virgins told the 5 foolish virgins that, we have sufficient oil for us, but go and buy some for yourself. So in that, do we see that when we continually do the work to keep our flame lit, but we allow those around us to siphon our oil from us, meaning we do the work, but we just willingly constantly want to give our knowledge and wisdom and everything away, like we're trying to carry other people. Okay, what happens when we are trying to carry other people that are not doing the work, the inward work, to keep their menorahs lit, to keep their their oil in their candlesticks? What happens? Okay, your flame goes out and it creates, so your flame goes out, so it creates a burnout in you because you're trying to keep your flame lit, but you are trying to do the work for everybody else around you. And so when you try to do that, you literally, it's like the foolish virgin trying to keep her flame lit, but she doesn't have enough oil because she's constantly giving her oil away to those who are basically like siphoning her energy, who won't do the inward work. And so so for the 5 wise virgins, they understood that you have to cherish the information that you're given. Only give it when the Holy Spirit impresses upon you to share it. And that is how you keep sufficient oil in your lamp, and so that your lamp does not run out of oil and your light doesn't burn out. Okay, so the burnout is, we experience burnout in our life when we are trying to carry everybody else, when we are trying to do the work for everybody else, instead of letting the Holy Spirit testify to you, this person is ready for this, share that with them. That is planting a seed. When you plant a seed, it's not your job to determine the outcome of what they do with that seed. Just like the disciples, you're supposed to go in and do what you're instructed and leave and totally release it. And it's up to, Yahshua, it's up to father and mother how that information is received, or what they do with that seed. If that seed is put on the wayside, if it's, planted in rocky soil, or if it's planted on good soil, it's not for you to worry about and stress about. The biggest thing that we can do to keep our lamps lit is to let go of the outcomes and let go of the control that we think that we have to hound an outcome into somebody, or to control an outcome. We go in, we do what we were asked, and we move forward. We don't try to convince and just like beat it into the person. That's never what Yahshua did. He never tried to make anyone view it the way that he did. He literally shared what he was instructed when the Holy Spirit instructed him, and then he went on about his day. So when we try to keep another person's lamp lit, we will experience burnout in our own life, and our light will just get dimmer and dimmer because we are trying to do the work for everybody else, and the only person that we can do work for is ourselves. And we can plant seeds when we're instructed of insight that the Holy Spirit has given us, but we cannot. We have to hold our oil very precious and dear to us. Because if we don't, it will create burnout and our lights will go out, because we can't, we won't have enough oil sufficient to maintain our own light. And that's also part of, retrieving your energy. Know what you're giving out and make sure that you're calling it back to you. So maybe understand how important it is to keep sufficient oil in our lamps, and to not do the work for those who are choosing not to. The wise foolish virgins also, they didn't do the work. They didn't have sufficient. So there, it's kind of everything is layered, so you can look at it both ways. Those of the wise that kept giving their oil away, and you get to the point where you don't have sufficient oil in your lamp anymore, and the wise, and then there are the wise virgins that understand you can't do that, and you have to allow a person to go through their growth, their inward work, to do the work for themselves. And so when they ask you, share some of your oil with us, unless you're prompted through the Holy Spirit, you don't do that. And it's to keep sufficient oil in your lamp, because if a person is not ready to receive what you tell them, then you're giving oil away that you shouldn't be giving away. And you do that so much, it creates burnout, and you no longer have sufficient oil in your lamp. So just some beautiful food for thought on the 10 virgins. Have a glorious day.